For me, it's like looking into space. There's a universe inside there, where the stars are creatures, microbes. I imagine an African savanna on the size of a pinhead, where the creatures are all striving to survive and thriving, multiplying, hunting, fighting, eating. There are more microbes in a handful of living compost than there are humans on the planet. And this fascinates me. When I learned that food waste was a major contributor to climate change, I didn't yet know that my passion for composting would start me on a multi-year journey. A journey that would lead me to build a community of compost heroes and a machine called bEartha.
We are heading to number 2 Sharps Lane. Today is delivery day, where we receive the delivery of bEartha from the engineering company. I'm really nervous. I'm excited to see it actually on the yard that we've waited so long and we've worked so hard to prepare and get ready. And it's a pretty big day today. This is it.
Still exciting opening that gate. Knowing it's our yard, you know. Yeah.
Come friends, let me show you the site. bEartha will be sat here, coming down here. So these are the 4 corners. Come into bEartha. The door's just here. I've opened the door. Yeah. Come in. Yeah,
Okay.
so now we're inside.
Well, this is exciting.
So the compost, when it's done, it gets turned around in here. And then the outlet is here. Morning. And this area here will be the maturing site.
4.5 years ago, I started a social enterprise called Community Compost. The idea was to provide buckets to houses and businesses for them to collect their food waste in. I would go around on a Friday night after my joinery job and collect their buckets and take them to the community gardens and make compost with them on a Saturday. I was heavily into CrossFit, training 5 or 6 or 7 times a week. And there's cooling on the inside knowing that I should be doing something more constructive with my life that was more community focused, more people focused. I was at Nelson Saturday Market and noticed how much food waste was going in the bins there. I was quickly able to understand the enormity of how much organics was going to landfill. There's 20,000 houses in Nelson, and my ambition was to do it all. It's not being done. There's no plans to do it. It's not on anyone's radar. I was like, fine, I'll do it. It felt like maybe this is my opportunity to give back to the world that I felt has given me so much. Those first 6 months of composting were shocking. I learned a lot about what happens when it goes wrong. I learned a lot about the full spectrum of smells that are generated. People would come and they'd say, oh, this doesn't smell right, it feels weird. And I'd be like, no, it's fine, it's fine. I truly wanted to be doing my best, but my best just was not any good. But I started doing it right. The smell started going away. That was a really pivotal moment. On Thursdays and Fridays, we collect around 180 buckets from 120 stops around town.
Have you had any accidents on the
Our collections team's made up of 3 key members. Joe is our leader. Em rides with the e-bike and trailer. On Thursdays we have Kate, and she drives a wider route.
I don't want to be upset anymore. I don't want to be angry about where the world is. I want to be excited about what's possible, and this makes me excited. It makes me proud to say what I do. It makes me proud to talk to people about it, to say, oh, you know, you can do something. You can save the world one bucket at a time, too. You can do this. You're surrounded by people that care as much as I do about the future.
I arrive at Ben's place around 9. I set up the bike, collect all the buckets that I need for the day, make sure I've got the sound system going, then I start my route.
Got up this morning, look around and see the sun high. I grab my bag and take my phone. I shut the door and walk into the light.
We provide a fresh bucket to our customers every week. So when our collection person arrives at their location, they'll take their full buckets and they'll give them a perfectly clean one for the next week. Then those buckets are loaded into the van or on the bike and delivered to Compost Club here at the gardens to be composted on Saturday. On Saturday mornings, Compost Club gathers and congregates. It's pretty magical, actually. The community know what to do now. We've got a big depth of experience and knowledge. The food arrives in buckets. We have around 180 buckets a week at the moment, which adds up to around 1.5 tons of food. We have a chef, a compost chef of the day. They're in charge of making sure the recipe that goes in the cage is correct.
My glasses are fogged up. Take those off. That's too hot. I came along for one day and I can't stop now. There are a lot of people who come just because it's a nice social morning and they feel like they're doing something really valuable, really contributing to the community. But at the same time, there's an awful lot of talking and hugging that goes on, sharing of food and lots of laughter and smiles. So I think that's what keeps bringing volunteers back every week, just the joy of being here.
Thank you, everyone, for...
But I think bEartha opens up the opportunity to allow a lot of other people to become involved in the composting process because it's a larger scale and it's a bit more, I don't want to say industrial, but sort of a mechanised community process.
We're very much restricted by capacity and always have been. We have a waiting list to sign up. It's just we're just unable to take on more. I'm excited for bEartha to arrive and signing on more customers. Another 100 customers would mean 2 more collection routes, and that's just the beginning.
Hey,
How are you, mate?
good man, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Awesome.
Good to see you.
I just finished the chart, so we've got the temperature readings coming through now. I've been involved in the bEartha project since its inception. So that's really nice. Here we can see bEartha is an automated hot composting machine.
Compost, being a man-made substance, needs humans to intervene at different stages throughout the process. Turning the compost is hugely energy demanding. We turn the compost because it needs oxygen and it needs to cool down. And we also need the particles and the bits of food that are on the outside that haven't got hot to be moved onto the inside. Mechanization occurred to me, and I thought that maybe we could do a lot more work if we got some machines to do some of the hard yakka. I guess my inner inventor came out. I really loved this problem-solving scenario, which is also kind of fueled by I'm low-resourced, I'm struggling. I really don't want this to to end, but unless I find a quick solution to this, I'm going to get too tired and it's all going to stop. And in the back of my mind all the time, there's 20,000 homes that need to be done just in Nelson. And I know that there's other cities too that it's not happening in too, and how do they do theirs?
This is Bertha, our amazing composting machine.
I called it her bEartha, and I personified it as a female from the very beginning.
We thought it was going to be a lot easier to just build our own machine than it actually was. We used a lot of reclaimed materials.
It was very much a prototype. We were experimenting with DIY tech, all funded by our own time and all funded by our own pockets. The compost she was making was phenomenal. I want to say fabulous, exquisite, gourmet. There's so much pride that we were all feeling in our produce.
The result was a machine that worked, but a machine that broke just about every week or two. That was really stressful.
After 7, 8, 9 months of this, patching her up, I receive a text with a video clip. The text said, "Is everything okay?" And it's a security video from, oh God, I'm trauma just remembering it. There's a security video that was watching Bertha, and she turns on, click, and you hear the motor, then you see this tumbling machine slowly rotating, and she's going, and all of a sudden a wheel breaks. And inside this tank is 9 tons of compost. My mind started running away with me thinking, oh, what happens if she rolls down and rolls over people or cars? So yeah, my heart breaks at this moment, and I'm thinking it's got to be all over. She's rolled. We got a quote for $30,000-ish to make her safe, to prevent that ever happening. We couldn't afford the $30,000. Basically, we had to stop operating after that. I was just so ready to cry even more.
We decided to build bEartha 2 because bEartha 1 wasn't reliable. To build a machine like that that's really reliable needs a really strong foundation, really strong bones. And we knew that if we just had a bit more funding and a bit more resources, we would be able to create something that was really amazing.
If we could build another bEartha out of the right materials with a few tweaks to the design, we wouldn't need to be repairing her every night or every day. So yeah, we were super keen for another bEartha.
Completely different than the first one.
Completely different.
I had no idea what I was going to see.
Yeah, it's small.
The Waste Minimalisation Fund from Ministry for Environment opened their annual application process.
We're loading down from the top and it will fall in.
I applied and asked for 10 bEarthas so we could put a bEartha in 10 town cities around South Island. They came back and said we can do 1.
Build something that's going to last.
Yeah.
So that begun the process of bEartha 2 almost 2 years ago.
I've pictured this moment for months and months. We planned to have her in January and February, and it's September now, so we're well ready for this moment. But I didn't expect it to feel this exciting. It meant so much to me that some of our community came along. I think that's a part of the magic of it all, is that it's really being carried by so many people.
How stuck are you?
That's how we vet our employees.
Yeah.
Can we fit them in the shredder?
Yeah. We don't employ anybody who won't go down the shredder.
There's a bit of work to do yet, but now she's here on site. We can start. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I can't stop looking at it. It's so good. Big milestone.
What makes bEartha unique compared to other composting machines that we've researched is firstly that the turning is automated based on temperature. We put a mixture of food waste and wood chips inside of her. Then inside the machine are a series of temperature sensors that are constantly monitoring the temperature of the compost. When they detect that the temperature is the maximum that we want the compost to reach, the software triggers an automatic turn of that compost, which re-oxygenates the material and cools things back down to an optimal temperature and environment for the organisms that are doing the work in there. We also built an app for our composting machine, and what that allows us to do is see in real time exactly what's happening in the machine. All of this work using technology allows us firstly to process more compost faster, and secondly it helps us just create the perfect environment for the type of organisms we need to produce really high quality compost.
Compost is the result of organic matter naturally breaking down. Our philosophy is to create the most healthy, diverse, living and soil-compatible compost possible. There's tens of thousands of species of creature in here all interacting with each other. They're eating each other, they're fighting each other, they're competing for food. And the idea of creating the most diverse compost is to manage the environment in which it doesn't favor any particular species any more than another, to maintain a diversity so they can all thrive together. The original project budget was 125,000. We're currently at around 165,000 due to COVID and other changes that we didn't know about. To pay for these infrastructure changes in the yard, the electrical, the plumbing, and the connections between our old infrastructure and our new machine, we're looking to raise another $40,000, which we just don't have. So the machine's waiting for us to find that money. It's all pretty big numbers. I feel kind of uncomfortable that we've gone over by that far. I've worked really hard for the last 2 years to make the project run within budget. So I guess I feel a lot of failure. I feel like perhaps I've let the community down and my team down because now we don't have the money.
Email address or website. Plus the amount of budget that's been allocated.
The plan is to launch a crowdfunding campaign. We've never asked for help in a crowdfunding way before.
Hey, video works.
Kia ora. I'm excited to announce that bEartha 2 has been completed, and we're running this Give a Little campaign to raise some money to help us install her at our new site in Nelson CBD, which saves like here. It's impossible to start running this machine on this new yard without the money. It's the barrier. It could be the end of Community Compost if we don't raise the money. Yeah. Why is doing the right thing so hard?
How we're looking. So we've raised just over 8,000 out of the 42,000 we need. That's taken 4 weeks, and we've got 1 week left. I mean, I really wanted to be further along at this point.
Pressure's on.
Pressure's on.
Yeah. I feel so humble that 85 people jumped on it.
Yeah, I have heard that often most of the donations just come in right at the end. What are we going to do if we don't raise any more money this week?
Community Compost is running a really narrow margin right now. This margin can't support a loan, or it's only just supporting itself.
So we can't really afford to take out a loan at the moment.
I don't think we'd qualify for a loan. It's
tight.
It's very tight. Yeah, some months we're break even, some months we're under.
Yeah.
So that's why neither of us are paid yet. We'd have to find an investor or someone who would lend us the money, someone who's prepared to take more of a risk than perhaps a financial institution like a bank. A loan is definitely plan B, emergency plan B.
Can we borrow any more money from your mum?
Maybe if we all called our mums.
If we all called our mums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just borrow?
Call your mum.
Call your mum. After 6 weeks, the crowdfunding campaign's finished. Thanks to the generosity of our community and friends and extended networks, we've been able to raise just under $10,000, which is hugely humbling for us, and we're very grateful for that. Also humbling because we didn't get anywhere near the $42,000, but we've had some amazing news today that the Ministry for Environment have agreed to extend their current funding to meet our needs, to raise the rest of the money.
We owe a lot to our community for that, because by so many people in our community just donating a small amount, what that really communicated to the higher-ups was that, hey, a lot of people have faith in what we're doing.
After all the response from the community, I feel extra motivated to succeed and push this through, and I can't wait to launch her. The electrician has finished plugging in all of the motors to the mains power and signed us off to start work here. Yeah, I'm super excited to start getting these turning. They've just been still, and it's going to be our first experience of Bertha alive. All clear at the back? Shay, your side?
Yeah, all clear.
All right.
So quiet.
So quiet. Okay, that's full speed, full power. This motor is controlling the mixing paddles inside Bertha. It might seem a bit underwhelming, but this is so important in turning the compost and cooling it down, and is replacing about 20 people with a pitchfork all working hard at the same time right now. So all of these wires will be poked down inside in a minute. Shall I go in?
Yep.
In my mind, it was going to be like 10 times the size in here, but actually it's
pretty cozy, isn't
pretty tight. I'm touching both walls like that.
Yeah. So, I think a good thing to do might be...
Hey, it's really noisy, so you can talk real quiet.
Okay.
Less.
So I will go inside.
Kind of like bedroom whisper.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will go inside.
Yeah.
And have you got your phone on you? You got a blood on your head.
Oh yeah. It's just one of the things you do for compost. Oh, someone's calling me. It's Shay. Hello. I feel like you're stuck on the joint. Oh. That was good, that's good. Feels good. Oh, I've lost the fish. Or have I? No, I've got it. success. I'm feeling a lot of pressure at the moment to get Bertha up and running for the amount of food that we're composting on the farm there is too much for the volunteer group to handle. People are tired. People have given a lot of Saturday mornings over the last year while waiting for Bertha to be ready. The other reason is I currently provide all of the management and any excess work free of charge to the business. And I was hoping for this to happen a long time ago, to generate enough income to pay me for my time. I'm really conscious that for this to be a successful model, it needs to have a paid manager. It's been too long now, and I'm really feeling drained. So it's really important to get Bertha up and running as soon as possible.
The journey of compost out of Bertha.
So we finally got the marquee up. The plumber's finished doing the plumbing. The electrician has finished all the electric work. We've got all the supplies we need to do the washing up of the buckets and run a full compost processing shift. We were all ready just before Christmas, but I had this instinct to do a test. I need to test Bertha can fully function before we put food in. So we loaded about 1.5 cubes of mulch, just mulch. And the mixing was great, the loading was great, everything was super smooth, and I was really excited. Then we practiced the unload, and we were watching through the outlet here, and the paddles were just, instead of pushing the mulch out of the hole, they were lifting the mulch up past the hole. And now we have 1.5 cubes of mulch just stuck inside Bertha, and we can't get it out. There's quite a lot of frustration there because we're all ready to go.
With lots of physics and some science with the engineers, we believe that the hole is too high and we need to lower it down to about here to give it the right angle of push from the pushing paddles. And they're due to come back any day now to fix this. Once that's done, we're good to go. We'll be doing our first shift that week. Nothing to hold us back then.
We have encountered a lot of challenges so far. Sometimes those challenges have been a bit overwhelming and discouraging, but I know that whatever comes up, we can find a creative way around it, and it's just strengthening for our team, it's strengthening for us as individuals, and at the end of the day, it just needs to be done. We just need to stop sending food waste to landfill.
So we're here, the first ever day we get to use Bertha as a composting machine. So there's a lot of excitement here. It's the first time everyone's really seen her properly. Got the really core crew of the composting communities here today. Thank you for being here in this next exciting evolution of our composting journey in Nelson. I was up quite a lot of the night last night, worrying about whether this shift will go well or not. There always feels like a bit more pressure when I've got my community here and they're expecting it to go well, hoping it goes well. If anything does go wrong, I know we can handle it. And fingers crossed it doesn't.
First bucket!
No such thing as waste. Only stuff in the wrong place. No, there's no such thing as waste. When we treasure every trace. 'Cause there's no such thing as waste. Oh no. Only stuff in the wrong place. I said there's no such thing as waste. Only opportunity to waste.
looking good.
Oh my god, it looks amazing.
I like seeing so much space still.
Yeah.
That's reassuring.
Yeah.
Busted your ass.
We've just been looking towards this moment for so long, that to have it actually happen and now behind us is, wait, did that really just happen? Is Bertha really loaded? Is she really 2/3 full? It's just, I get goosebumps right now. It's this sensation of a dream come true that is still going on. This is just the start of this dream. And this is the beginning of, okay, now we get to show the world what we really can do. And to get the whole team back together, because we've done this before for so many years. And we've done the Bertha shift, we've done the piles, we've done the buckets. So when the entire team that's ever done this all comes together, everyone knew what they were doing. And it just flowed in the shortest amount of time that it's ever taken. And it fills me with such hope that, yeah, what we've been working towards is real and it's gonna work.
Compost heroes!
Yeah, I feel relieved. I feel nervous also because now the food's in there. We don't know how she will work. She might exceed expectations, she might not meet expectations. So the next few days, the next week is really going to be a week of me checking her status a lot, going online, what's the temperature, what's the readouts of all the machines, the sensors. Yeah, so today was a huge day for us loading, but it's really just the beginning for me in experiencing her as a machine and how good she is. I'm just excited now for this next week to see the first batch. To turn her on, to start pushing it out, and that's around the back. I'm not sure. That's the procedure. No, we'll leave that turning.
Wow.
It's coming out.
For what self?
Keep coming. It looks really amazing.
You certainly can, smell that smell of sort of organic matter with it that isn't mature.
Yeah. What I'm enjoying not seeing is food.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'm enjoying not seeing is banana skins, plastic, eggshells, avocado shells, bones. It's feeling hot too. It feels hot. This is 50 degrees. It's slow as. This isn't the speed we want it to be. Wow. We could probably start raking soon. It's amazing how much composting can happen in a week when it's at the right temperature. Super stoked. Super stoked. There are so many different ways this could have looked, but it's come out looking epic. Bertha's performed really well too. We've been tracking this graph and the data all week, and yeah, she's reached temperature, she's automatically turned, all of the things that we've programmed in and all of the things we wanted and expected of her has happened. So if I was to open a cage from Compost Club, a compost heap that we built a week ago, it would not be pleasant like this. It would be hot, it would be stinky, there'd be pockets of disgusting sludge. So not only has Bertha taken potentially unsafe food waste and nurtured it forward in a safe way and in a loving way for the microbes, she's also produced after a week compost that would take us at least a month at the garden. This problematic exit hole, it's disappointing. It's taken too much human power to get this out. In an ideal world, she'd probably empty in about 10 minutes. This is a refinement that we need to make. This is efficiency we need to work on, but it's not stopping us. So we're all go. We're still go. We partner with a local landscaping company called Tim's Garden. When the compost from Bertha has finished maturing, they take it to the customers and use it in their vegetable gardens and their landscaping projects.
I love knowing people's gardens are being inoculated by thousands of healthy microbes. For other groups that are planning on picking up the bEartha model, the distribution method may look different. It really depends on their community's specific needs.
Since bEartha started taking a significant amount of food waste from the collection, we have a much smaller amount of food waste to deal with. The Saturday mornings were very busy and it felt pressured. It felt like we were working pretty consistently and solidly to get that processed. So we're building less compost every Saturday, and that means that we can spend more time on looking after the compost we've already built and pay a lot more attention to what's happening to it in the subsequent weeks after building. So we feel like we're more attentive, got more time for the compost now.
Having bEartha up and running is a massive relief. It's freeing up so much of my time now to focus on the bigger vision. To finish this project successfully, I've had to develop my resilience and my perseverance and my determination. All of those factors in me are stronger now, and I'm grateful for that because I feel like there's a long road to go to reach our vision. I was never going to give up on this. There's too much at stake. I still believe that this is one of the best solutions for medium-scale, localized composting. I'm so excited about this size model because the geography of New Zealand has many rural townships and localized urban areas that are distributed. It's incredibly inefficient to collect food waste and then truck it all the way to a larger facility. So I still love this model where the community can gather, the community can get together, they can meet, there's social benefit with the interactions, and they can process their own food waste from their own localized area, generating compost for their own community to close the loop, the circular economy. It just makes so much sense to me. For many councils all around New Zealand, the food waste processing problem won't be approached for the next 2, 3, 5 years. But that doesn't change that we're in a climate emergency, and it doesn't change that this work needs to be done, and it doesn't change that communities all over the country are highly motivated and ready to do this work. I'm not going to stop my mission. I'm not going to stop working on this, and I know that hundreds of people around the country, thousands of composters around New Zealand aren't going to stop either. Yes, it's frustrating for me and disappointing that councils and government can't show up faster for this, but we can and we're here, so we will.